You don't remember your first word. You don't remember your first step. You don't remember the first time you looked up and recognized your mother's face. An entire chapter of your life happened, and you weren't there for it. Not in any way you can access now. That's strange enough on its own, but new research suggests something even stranger. Those memories might have been made after all. The question is, what happened to them next? There's a name for why you can't remember: infantile amnesia. For most of the last century, scientists had a simple explanation for it. Babies were too young. Their brains just weren't ready to hold on to memories yet. Case closed. There was one problem with that theory. Babies kept acting like they remembered things anyway. In the 1980s, a psychologist named Carolyn Rovey Collier ran a simple experiment. She tied a ribbon from a baby's ankle to a mobile hanging over the crib. The babies figured out fast that kicking made the mobile move, and they loved it. When she brought the same babies back days later, they didn't need to relearn anything. They just started kicking. They remembered. So if babies can't form memories, why were they behaving like they already had one? Then, in 2025, a Yale neuroscientist named Nick Turk-Brown tried something nobody had really managed before. He put awake babies, some barely 4 months old, inside an MRI machine and showed them a series of pictures. Later, in the same session, some of those pictures came back on screen, mixed in with new ones. Starting around a year old, a pattern showed up. When a baby's brain lit up strongly the first time it saw a picture, that same baby tended to stare at it noticeably longer the second time it appeared. To researchers, that longer stare was a clue, a small sign that somewhere in the baby's brain, something registered. I know this one. It wasn't just reacting. It wasn't just perceiving. Their brains were showing signs of registering those experiences in ways researchers didn't expect. Which means we've been asking the wrong question this whole time. It was never, why can't babies make memories? It's what happens to the memories they already made. Here's the first clue. Learning and remembering aren't the same thing. Learning means an experience changed you. Remembering means you can walk back into that experience and watch it play out again. You don't remember learning how to talk, but the learning stuck. You don't remember the 1,000 tiny moments that taught you what a smile means, or what your mother's voice sounds like when something is wrong. But all of that is still running quietly underneath who you are. The lesson survived, the scene didn't. So what actually happened to the scene? One theory, your baby brain wasn't just recording your life. It was rebuilding itself at the same time, at a pace it will never move at again. Imagine a city getting renovated while people are still living in it. Roads get rerouted overnight. A building you passed every day gets torn down, and something new goes up in its place. The city is technically still there, but if you tried to retrace a walk you took a year ago, you might not recognize a single street. That's roughly what your brain was doing in its first few years. A memory could have been filed away perfectly fine, but by the time you were old enough to go looking for it, the road that led back to it didn't exist anymore. There's a second piece: language. Pull up any real memory you have right now. Notice that it comes with a story attached. Who was there? What happened? How it felt? Babies don't get that. They live through everything before they have any words to hold it together. There's no voice inside saying, "That's my mom," or "I'm scared," or "I'm safe now." Just raw feeling, floating with nothing to tie it down. And that raises a strange possibility. Maybe some of your earliest experiences were written in a mental language your adult mind no longer speaks. It's a bit like finding a journal you wrote as a kid and realizing you can no longer read your own handwriting. The pages didn't vanish, you just lost the key to them. And then there's a deeper question. What does a personal memory look like before there's a clear sense of self at the center of it? Every memory has a main character. You were there, you felt it, you're the one remembering it now. There's a simple test that hints at when that starts to change. Put a small dot of makeup on a baby's nose and sit them in front of a mirror. Very young babies look at the other baby in the mirror and never touch their own nose. Somewhere between about 15 and 24 months, that starts to shift. A few babies reach for their own face as early as 15 months, and by around age 2, most do. It's not one switch flipping overnight. It's more like a light slowly coming up, dimmer to brighter, over the course of months. If that sense of you is still coming into focus, what happens to an experience that has no one yet to file it under? So, a brain that's rebuilding itself. No language yet to hold a story together. No settled sense of self to hang the story on. Each piece chips away at the mystery a little more. None of them fully solves it. Which leaves one more idea, and it might be the real answer. It's the difference between recall and imprint. Recall means you can replay a moment, like hitting play on an old video. Imprint is different. It's the change an experience leaves behind, even after the moment itself is completely gone. Think about it this way. You don't remember most meals you've ever eaten, most ordinary Tuesdays, most conversations you've had. You couldn't replay a single one if someone paid you to. But they still built you. A familiar voice taught your infant brain that comfort was coming. A familiar face taught you what safety looks like. None of that needed a memory you could watch back. It only needed to happen over and over until it became part of how you see the world. So maybe your first years weren't erased after all. Maybe they turned into something else. Not a video you can rewind, but a pattern that kept running long after the footage disappeared. And here's the part that should make you a little uneasy. This isn't just something that happened to baby you. It's happening to you right now. You won't remember most of today a year from now. You probably won't remember this sentence by tomorrow. Try to recall what you had for dinner 2 Tuesdays ago. You can't, not really. But that meal still happened. It still fed you. It's still, in some small, invisible way, part of the person sitting here, watching this. Your whole life is fading in real time, much like your infancy did. Not erased, just quietly moving out of reach. Maybe perfect recall was never the point. The scenes are gone, but you're not missing from your own beginning. You're the proof it happened. Nearly every person you've ever met carries some version of this blank space at the start of their life, and every one of them was quietly built by it anyway. So maybe the real mystery was never why you can't remember being a baby. Maybe it's how much of you was already built before there was anyone home to remember it.